In this video, I want to share with you 5 habits that help make me successful. I went from being poor, broke, loser to being a multi-millionaire with tons of successful businesses. And if you've watched my videos over the last 10 years, you can see that every year my life is improving exponentially. It has everything to do with my habits and how I implement them. And I want to give you the top 5 habits that have helped me go from being a broke ass bitch nigga to being balling and shot calling. Now, to be clear, I didn't come from means. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was born on the south side of Chicago, gang infested wasteland. My father shot himself in the head, blew his brains out when I was just a young man, and I had to take care of the whole family. Nothing was handed to me. It all came from my habits, and I want to give you the top 5 habits right now. So, habit number 1. Before I tell you what the habit is, I want to tell you how I learned it. There's a song by the rapper 50 Cent, the American poet Curtis Jackson. It's called Rider Music. He spells it with a Y, Rider Music. And at exactly the 2:30 mark, 50 says one of the most important things you ever need to hear when it comes to dealing with women. Mr. Jackson says, homie, you hustling backwards if you chasing a bitch. Stupid. Chase the money. They come with the shit. When my 21-year-old brain heard that, I just thought it was a funny line. But then I started to realize just how important that was. So the rule number 1 is MOB, money over bitches. And if you're a woman listening to this, or if you're my niece listening to this in the future, it stands for money over boys. If you're my niece in the future or the one woman watching my videos, money over boys. And let me show you why this is important. If you want to succeed in life, this would be your success level. And in order to accomplish that, you're going to need to invest. And that investment is going to come in the form of time and money. You got to pay for school. You got to pay to learn stuff. You got to pay for books, whatever it is. It's going to be time or money. And, you know, we think that it's going to be linear. Like we get out what we put in. We think it's going to be like that, but it's not. It is not. It looks a lot more like this. You invest, you start getting little returns, and then at some point it starts to hockey stick and it becomes exponential. That's after you put a lot of investment up front and investment in time and money. What happens to most guys is they start investing a little bit, you know, they're in school or whatever, then they kind of stop learning and they kind of flatline, or they go up very moderately. They're learning the hard way through experience. Experience is the most difficult way to learn something. It's the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience, right? Somebody else figured out algebra and you just had to learn it. You didn't have to invent it. That's significantly harder. So you can just learn it by putting in the time. And if you start making money, you start investing the money in yourself and into your, you know, your portfolios or your business or your home or whatever it is, it'll start to accumulate and, you know, it'll hockey stick. Now, here's the problem. If you don't follow money over bitches, here's the problem with that. Every relationship, there's an investment, and a lot of times it's equal. The man's putting in some investment and the woman's putting in some investment. A lot of times it's equal, but sometimes you'll see a guy. A lot of times I think the young boys call them simps, where they're putting in a ton of investment and the woman is just reaping the rewards. But every once in a while, it's flipped, where the guy is putting in less investment than the woman. And that's if the guy is way over fucking here. Once he's already accrued enough success, like 50 said, chase the paper. They come with this shit. But women don't just want money. They want what money can give them. There's 2 things that I think women want. You correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my belief, and this belief has served me well. Women want value. And a lot of times that comes in the form of money. So let's say you are someone with high value. And I don't mean just like the stereotypical way that red pill guys say it as a high value man. I mean it the way the dictionary definition of value, the regard that something is held in, its utility. How valuable you are to her depends on your utility. And a lot of times that comes in the form of money, right? Because, you know, most of the women I know, most of them, they like food and shelter, security, safety. If you can provide that, you'll be high value. If you cannot, you are lower value. That doesn't mean she doesn't like you. I'll show you what that means, right? We're going to go through what that means. But not only do you need value, but I really believe that the woman has to admire you. So let's say there's high admiration and then there's low admiration. Like she doesn't admire you. And I'm using admiration for lack of a better term, but stick with me. I think this is applicable. If you have low value and she does not admire you, you are a what? Creep. You are a creep. If you have low value, but she admires you, and admiration can come in many forms. Maybe she thinks you're hot. Maybe she thinks you are good at something and you're doing cool shit, or you're super manly. It can come in many forms. This guy, he is either a friend or a fuck buddy. Right? Because it's low value, so she doesn't see a real future with you. But you know what I'm saying? She admires you, man, and maybe you can smash, right? If she does not admire you, but you can provide high value in variety of forms, then you are a friend. These are guys who get friend zoned, or a sugar daddy. She doesn't admire you, so she doesn't want to fuck you, so you're a friend. And she'll fuck you if she can extract that value from you. So then you could be a fuck buddy. Over here, she'll fuck you, but she doesn't see a future with you, right? So, you know, she'll fuck you when she needs like to raise her self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you're a good friend. You can help her fucking move or some shit. Now, here's the thing. If she admires you and you can provide high value, you hold the frame in the relationship. What do I mean by frame? When you hear a guy say, happy wife, happy life, that bitch holds the frame. She has the power frame in that relationship. You know what I'm saying? For sure. So you want to have as much of the frame as possible. And the only way to accomplish that is if she both admires you and if you can provide high value. Now, why is this important? Well, remember, to succeed in life, you have to invest. If you're putting all your investment into some bitch, then you will be along this red line and you won't succeed in life. But if you hold the frame, you don't have to put in as much investment and you can focus on your shit. Let me break this down a little bit more. All right, so this is men, and this axis we're going to have women. And now we're going to classify guys and these hoes. And we're going to break them down into a few different categories. So this cast, we have women who are repulsive, gross, kind of spooky looking sometimes, you know. And then we have chicks who are average. She's not gross, she's just regular. Then we have hot. And, you know, they're not as cut and dry in this. It's more of a gradient, but for the purpose of my fucking graph, we're going to divide them in the three sections: repulsive, average, and hot. And then the dudes. So we have your scrub. Then you got the dude who is average. And then we have James Bond. Again, there's a big gap between James Bond and average, but for the purpose of this graph, we're going to segregate them in three sections. On the guy's side, it's not just looks, it's not just money, it's value and admiration, the combination. If you are a scrub and the chick is repulsive, I don't really know how these people have sex with each other. I don't know what happens. I don't hang out in this part of the wilderness. So I don't know what these creatures are doing with each other. If you are a scrub and you're with the average chick, the investment comes from 100% man. We'll call this levels of investment. If you're a scrub with an average chick, that's 100% man. If you're a scrub and you end up with a hot chick, this is going to be 100% from the man too, but it will be in the form of prostitution. And you may be thinking, man, how does a scrub even have enough money to pay for a prostitute? You'd be surprised. So I knew this girl who was an escort, sex worker, and she would tell me that some guys will be saving up for months for one night with her. Man, people do strange things. Let's say you're an average guy and you're with a repulsive chick. This is going to be 100% woman is going to be investment. And what happens is she throws herself at him when he's like super drunk and horny simultaneously. The stars align and she gets lucky. Same thing happens here. You may think that James Bond won't fuck a fucking ugly bitch, but James Bond drinks a lot, and that bitch catches him the right time. She will be able to fuck James Bond. I promise you it happens. Now, if you are an average guy and you're with an average woman, hey, this is what most relationships are like. Most guys are average and they fucking average hoes. So it's a 50-50 investment. You may think that's a good thing. You may think, yeah, that's what I want. Hey, asshole. No. For a variety of reasons that I will make themselves more obvious later. But to be clear, all these chicks here, average and hot, want James Bond. And when I say James Bond, I don't mean the literal James Bond. I'm not talking about Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig. I'm saying that archetype, a guy who she admires and has a lot of value. I don't know how much MI6 pays James Bond. I don't know how much international spies make, but he's very presentable. James Bond has, tailored suits. He wears an Omega. He drives an Aston Martin. He looks like he's doing well for himself. He's well put together. He's in good shape, and he's super capable. He'll fuck anybody up. He's not scared of shit. He's doing dope ass manly shit all the time. Motherfucker speaks different languages. He's lit. Put him in any situation, he'll handle it. Telling you, bitches want that. I promise you, bitches want that. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, I'm gonna show you a video from this guy. His name is Hoe Math on Instagram and TikTok. He draws graphs and shit like me, but he's a better artist and he knows more about this shit than me. But check out this video.
Step 1, Step 2. Look good and do man stuff. That's how you make women like you.
He has a different graph.
I talk to a lot of guys who have trouble with women in this range, and my questions are, first, do you look as good as you can? And second, what are you doing with your life? And the most common answers are work and video games and driving in between.
Loser shit. Loser shit, you know what I'm saying?
There are things you can do that make you more attractive. Somebody sent me this video because he knows how things work. That confidence is attractive. Why was that hot? That jump was kinda, and then eyeballs. I'm not cherry picking, it just keeps going and going. They didn't even know what he looked like. This is the whole clip. I especially like this part because it shows that he knows what he's doing.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I use the James Bond architect. James Bond knows what the fuck he's doing. He's never scared. He's never bitching up, never crying, never complaining. Bitches like that shit. If you don't believe me, listen to Hoe Math.
This is what experience looks like. There's women watching this right now getting upset. If you are a frustrated guy and you are not actively getting better at things that women find impressive, you are leaving attraction on the table.
If you know this motherfucker, tag him in this shit, let him know that I fuck with this shit and I'm giving him props. That's why I use James Bond. James Bond seems like he has a lot of disposable income, but it's bitches ain't fucking him for the money, but the money is attractive, right? He can provide a good experience for them. You know what I'm saying? They want that shit and they want you to be capable. So for example, if I pull up my Instagram, you immediately go to it. What do you see, man? Okay, bitches look at that. They think that's just impressive. They see, me. I'm in fairly good shape. I'm not gruesome. You know what I'm saying? I'm in fairly good shape. You can see, man, signs of wealth and status, and this. But here's the thing: I'm always doing dope shit. So I'm gonna show my story. I'm just breeze through this for a little bit. That's my girl. Boom. I'm reading. Blah 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 blah. All right, this type of shit. I swear to God, bitches see me do that shit, man, and they start DMing me. I don't do it for that reason. I do it to flex on you. But bitches see that shit, and they're like, oh my God. I remember I was working, when I used to work in a restaurant, this girl I knew, she saw a video of me doing this, and she said, oh my God, if I saw a guy doing it in the gym, I'd have to fuck him. They like when you do impressive shit, right? That's why I'm using James Bond. Let's say the average guy, he ends up with a fucking hot girl. What do you think? Yeah, 100% investment from the man. This motherfucker has his girl's IG in his bio on Instagram. You ever see that motherfucker? You know what I'm talking about. and the fucking profile picture is a picture of them too. I know some guys like that. I'm not gonna bring them up because I don't want to embarrass the homies. But they got their girl in their fucking bio, on a picture of them in the bio, because their girl's fucking bad as shit. You know what I'm saying? And he is a regular fucking guy. Now, here's where things get interesting. You get an average chick with James Bond. What do you think? Yeah, 100% investment from woman. And same thing, even a hot chick, you're going to get 100% investment from the woman, because she knows, even if she's a bad chick, she still knows there are more of her than there are of you, if you make it there. So where most guys live, they live in this zone. This is where like probably most people are. The problem is if you're putting all this investment in the chick, it's difficult to put the investment into succeeding at life. Obviously, this is the no-go zone. This only happens when you are drunk and or lonely. This is one of the big reasons why I don't drink. Who knows what happened? With the right amount of beers, every chick looks above the bangable threshold. Where you want to be is here, because then you can focus on your shit and keep improving. And if the bitch acts crazy, you can just replace her ass easily. You want to be there, but to get there, you're going to have to forego. It's like sacrifice, like everything else. You're going to sacrifice. So you got to put money over bitches. Now, it sounds more crude than that, because to get money, you have to get what? Skills. You can't make money. People have to give it to you, and they only give it to you for exchange of goods and services that they think are equal or greater value. To make more money, you have to keep getting better. So you have to keep investing, getting better. And once you are really good at things, it will be easy to make money because you are really good at things. And being really good at things is something that bitches admire. You get what I'm saying? You gotta have both. And to be clear, you have to do that to be successful. Otherwise, the investment goes into the girl instead of your dreams. So when 50 said, homie, you hustling backwards if you chasing a bitch. Stupid, chase the paper. They come with this shit. This is what he was talking about. He just said exactly what I said, only in 2 bars as opposed to 10, 15 minutes. The second habit that helped me become rich and super successful is I track everything. Tracking everything. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. What do I track? Every metric I want to improve in. So my health metrics, I track all of that. I track how much I sleep. I track the quality of my sleep. I track my macros. I keep a scale in my bag and I track my macros, everything I eat. I track how many calories I burn every day. I track how much water I drink. I track how I'm spending my time. I track every dollar that comes out of my account and every dollar that comes in. And there's a few reasons why this is important. One, something called the Hawthorne Effect. Okay, so what happened was during the Industrial Revolution, there was these researchers named Hawthorne, and he had some homies, right? His research crew. And what they noticed was that some factories would be way more productive than other factories. They'd have the same amount of people, but they would be producing way more products. This is my factory. I know I'm a great artist. Hawthorne and the homies, they went around to each factories and just observed them. And they said, listen, guys, don't change nothing. We're just going to watch you. So they went to every factory for a week or so, and they just observed the workers. And what they noticed was productivity shot up every time Hawthorne and the homies arrived at a factory. And as soon as they left, productivity went down. Why is that? Because humans perform better when they're being observed. It's just like when you were in school. If you're like me, when I was in school, back in South Side of Chicago, grade school, when the teacher's in class, everybody's being good, listening and shit. But when the teacher would leave, what happened? Yeah, you guessed it. Niggas start rolling dice, rolling blunts, bitches is twerking and shit. And then as soon as the teacher comes back, everyone in the 4th grade class is back to being good boys and girls, because people perform better when they're being watched. When you are tracking all your metrics every day, you are the observer and you will perform better because you are being watched. But also you can make data-based decisions. You can collect data, or data if you're pretentious, right? You collect data, see what happened, you observe the results of the data, and then you make adjustments. But now you're making adjustments and you're making decisions based off what? Data, instead of just fucking guessing or saying what it feels like. This is super powerful. Again, observe what's happening, make adjustments based on that data, and then you collect more data and you continue that process over and over and over again. When you do this, your life will start to improve dramatically. Let me show you what that looks like for your boy, Big Brandon Carter. This is one of my old habit trackers I'm gonna bring up. I don't want to show you my new one because I don't know. I just don't want you to see all the shit I'm doing. Motherfucker, fuck you. All right, so this is an old habit tracker. This is an old one. I'm tracking way more stuff now. It's way more intense, but this is from August 2022. So I just tracked if I worked out that day. I tracked if I did my AM meditation, my PM meditation. I tracked my macros, how much sleep I got. Then, I use mint.com to track my finances. I do something called the flex pinch. I can't tell you what it is, but I track how often I do it. 80% is good. I have the percentage of how much I did. And then I practice Spanish. Look at this, that month. Hombre un poquito Espanol. But you can see why. I can look at the data. If I study more. I work on content, how much time I spend with my girlfriend, right? Just make sure it's not fucking crazy. And I track everything. It's way more complex now. I track all my macros. You ask me any day over the last 15 years what I ate that day. Pick any day, the last 15 years. I'll tell you exactly what I ate. I'll tell you how much protein, how many carbohydrates, how many fats I had, and I'll tell you how much water I drank and how many calories I burnt that day. And I make adjustments based off the data. And that's why I look like me and you look like you. But you can do this with everything. And we do this with the business too. You got to do this in business. For example, here's one of our tracking sheets from our sales team. This is June of last year. This is how much commissionable income we made, and then how much contracted revenue. I can see how much money they're making per lead, per sale. I can see their conversion rates. And it's like we make decisions based off the data. This is like that with everything. Every business does this, but you got to do it with your own life, right? Tracking data. The third habit that's helped me become balling ass shot calling multimillionaire was reading every day. I read for at least 90 minutes every day. I know that there's a lot of guys on the internet that say reading is not important, and maybe they're just smarter than me, but maybe they're also smarter than Elon Musk, because Elon Musk said he's been known to read when he was younger for like 10 hours a day. Bill Gates says he reads 50 books a year. Bill Gates goes on reading vacations. Like he'll book like a vacation and go in with a bunch of books and just read his ass off. Warren Buffett confessed that he reads about 80% of his day. About 80% of his day is reading. And those are three of the richest people on earth. Success leaves clues, man. Like these books behind me, I read them. It's not decoration. Without reading, I know for a fact I would not be in the position I'm in. And what I do is I read 90 minutes every day, and I put that in my calendar. But I also walk around with this iPad, and I had the Kindle app on here, so I have books on here. So if I'm ever in a position where I'm maybe in an Uber or waiting at the bank or some shit, I start reading instead of going through fucking TikTok like you. I start reading the book, you know what I'm saying? And I get even more time each day. Every time I work out, I'm listening to audiobooks. I know people see me and they have to assume I'm listening to Lil Baby or Young Thug, but nope, I'm listening to Brian Tracy and Dale Carnegie, maybe not those exactly, but I'm always listening to either a book or a podcast, just always trying to find pockets of time where I can learn in addition to the 90 minutes that I allocate to reading every day. I promise if you do this, especially if it's on a subject where you're trying to improve, if you do this for a year, let's say you kept it on one subject, you'll know more about that subject than almost everyone. You'll be a goddamn expert in that subject. The fourth habit to help me is state control. And what I mean by state control is controlling your emotional state, your state of being. Let me show you why that's important. Let's say you want to accomplish something. You have a goal that you want to accomplish. This is a trophy, your goal you want to accomplish. And you know that to accomplish that goal, you need action. You have to do something to accomplish this goal. But what people don't talk about is the state in which you perform that action. For example, let me show you what I mean. Let's say your goal is to be a great father. So the action is to spend time with your kids. But let's say you're in a shitty state. You're all mad and pissed off. Well, then guess what? You did the action, but you did it in the wrong state. So you probably did more harm than good. Kids hate being around you. Dad's an asshole. He's always fucking mean and angry. But if you are in a good state, happy, enthusiastic, and then you're hanging out with your kids, then, you're dad of the year. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the action, it's also the state you are in when you perform that action. For example, every time I talk about this, I give the same example. I don't mean it to be crude. I'm just going to say this in a way where people can understand. So let's say you're getting a blowjob and the chick who's giving you the blowjob, she's like, ugh, she like barely wants to do it. She's kind of grossed out. It's almost like a pity blowjob. Yeah, she's doing it, but how good is it? Then we have a chick who's excited to give you a blowjob. She been dreaming about this, fantasizing about it. She jump on that motherfucker like a loose ball at the Super Bowl. She starts gobbling that thing down like she in a hot dog eating contest. They're both doing the same action, but they're doing it with different states, so they get different results. Here's the thing. It's like that with everything. So you're taking action all day to accomplish your goal. If you are in the shitty state, the action is not going to be as effective if you are in a good state. So you got to learn how to control your state so you can control the quality of your action. How do you do that? There's 3 ways to control state. Number 1 is your body. So if you sit around all like this for a long time, all droopy and sad, you'll start to feel that way. But I promise you, get up, start standing triumphantly, sitting triumphantly, behaving triumphantly, talking more enthusiastically, even smiling. Over time, you'll start to feel that emotion. Emotion creates emotion. So there's studies that show that by laughing or smiling, your brain actually produces neurochemicals like dopamine, serotonin that make you happy. And you can have the opposite effect if you start acting all drowsy and acting all fucking sad like a hoe. Motion creates emotion. So the way you use your body can actually affect your emotion on a neurochemical level. If you don't believe that, then read The Rise of Superman by Stephen Collier or any Stephen Collier books. That's all he talks about is neurochemical shit. And he speaks about how like you can use your body and experiences to put yourself in different states. Another thing you can do is change your environment. And environment means 2 things. It can mean your actual physical location, or it could be the people you're around. Let's focus on the people first. States are contagious. So when a happy baby walks into a room, everybody kind of lights up, or like a happy puppy runs in the room wagging his tail, everybody kind of lights up. But we've all had that experience when someone comes into a room all angry and ornery and they change the whole fucking energy in the room. We all had that experience. It might be you. It might be your grumpy ass. So it's the people you're around, but also your actual environment. Sometimes just being in a clean room, cleaning up your crib will make you feel better. Or going to a place with a different energy. You know, like when I wake up in the morning, you know, I'm right by the ocean, man. So I walk along the Atlantic Ocean. A lot of times I see dolphins, manatees, you know, there's a lizard that I'm trying to, you know, befriend, earn his trust so we can like go on adventures together. I see a bunch of other fish and marine life. They all say what up. And you know, being in that environment, it's sun is shining, watching the sunrise over the Atlantic Ocean, it changes my fucking state. Like I feel better when I do that, right? So it can actually be your physical environment too. But the most important way to change your state is focus. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. And that's the problem with a lot of stuff on the internet. You know, what they'll do is to get clicks, because human beings have a negativity bias. What's going to get the most clicks are the negative things. So they're going to shine a light on the things that are negative because they know that's going to get the clicks. And if they get more clicks, then they're going to be able to sell more advertising and so on and so forth. We do it in our thumbnails. This video might be a fucking picture of me, but I never do that in real life. You know what I'm saying? It's just because I know that, you know, it's negativity bias. When you start focusing on negative shit, you're going to feel it. Focus on positive shit, you'll feel that. So I'm not telling you to be positive. I'm telling you not to be negative. Don't focus on the negative thing. There's bad stuff happening all the time. But there's good stuff happening all the time too. You choose what you focus on, and whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. So whenever you want to change your state, find something positive to focus on. It could be anything. Sometimes I think about, you know, all my dead homies, and I'm grateful. Damn, glad I didn't get killed in that shootout. And it makes me feel better. You know what I'm saying? Or my niggas in jail be like, damn, glad so-and-so didn't snitch, right? And I feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying? I feel good that I'm out here. You know, whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. So focus, body, and environment. If you want to know more about this, the best book that will teach you this is Awaken the Giant Within from Tony Robbins. He talks about this way more eloquently than I. But if you learn to control your state, all your actions will be performed better. So you're more likely to accomplish your goals. The last habit that really changed my life is really planning my time and planning it out in Google Calendar. What do I mean by that? So let me bring up my Google Calendar. I plan my weeks out in advance. Sometimes Friends would be like, hey, what are you doing today, man? I'm like, motherfucker, my day's been planned. As you can see right now, Victory Talk Podcast. After this, prep for bed, go to sleep. The whole day is planned. You know what I'm saying? When I'm gonna wake up, what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna be up at 4:30 doing shit. Here's my shower, my morning walk that I told you about, quick workout, eat sardines, do accounting, trade stocks. Then I got some meetings. Here's today, like today there was almost no white space. And tomorrow I'm gonna fill up this white space, right? Thursday's fully booked. Like I got all the Thursday planned. All the Thursday is accounted for. And I got everything here, not just my business shit, but my whole life. When I'm gonna wake up, I got meals, showers. I got date night with my girl, right? I got to be in my boy's mastermind over here, man. Pre-order the Apple fucking nerd thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's coming out. When you start living out of your calendar and planning your time, it feels like you have more time. It'd be hard for me to overstate how much time you're wasting if you're not doing this. If you're not planning your days out, you're leaving so much success on the table because there's no way you're squeezing as much success out of each day as you possibly can if you're not planning it. There's no way. And I have other videos on how to plan. I would be nothing without this calendar. I talked to you about in the past, after my father killed himself, I had to work 4 jobs. I did it because of the calendar. But what you didn't know is when I was working those 4 jobs, I had a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I was in a fucking band because I play instruments and we perform this shit sometimes while I'm working 4 jobs because you have so much more time than you think. When people just hear me talk about having 4 jobs, they're like, there's no way you had time. No, I had time for that and some other shit I don't even talk about because you wouldn't believe it because your goofy ass doesn't know what it's like to squeeze as much victory out of each day as possible. Now, here's the thing. How much video games did I play today? Where was the time for video games today? It wasn't none, right? So it is a sacrifice. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on video games, Do whatever you want. Me, I want to squeeze as much life out of each day, so I don't leave a lot of time for video games. If I do play video games, I play Call of Duty Mobile on my iPad while I'm doing cardio on the exercise bike. There's not a lot of time for TV. There was playoff games yesterday. Guess what? I didn't watch them. And I love football and basketball, but you knew that because I'm black. And you got to pick what your sacrifices are. And it's a sacrifice either way. That's a key. You may think, man, I don't want to sacrifice all the TV and all the video games and getting high. That's cool. But if you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then your goals are the sacrifice. So to be clear, you are making a sacrifice. You're sacrificing your future for immediate gratification. Or, I sacrifice a lot of immediate gratification for the future. And that brings me to the bonus habit, long-term focus. Remember we started this out with the whole MOB shit. Remember, to succeed in life, you got to invest time and money. And to do that, you have to have long-term focus. And that's super difficult for a lot of young people. And it's not necessarily your fault. The main reason that you find it difficult to focus long-term is because you haven't been alive long. If you're 20 years old, you probably only remember 15 years of the life you've been alive. So 1 year sounds like a long time. It feels like a long time because you only had 15 of them. Me, I'm 40. So a year sounds like nothing. I'm 41. See, I forgot that year. It feels like nothing to me. Things that you don't enjoy now are usually good for you in the long term. And the things you enjoy now are usually bad for you in the long term. For example, everyone loves ice cream. You eat that ice cream now, you keep doing it. Now you fat long term. Smoking that OG Kush, you can enjoy that now, but long term, that may not be the best use of your time. You may not enjoy reading. You may not enjoy studying. You may not enjoy following a budget. But long term, those things are good for you. It's like that with almost everything. And if you want to know exactly how you can change your focus so you can be more disciplined, I have a video all about how you can be more disciplined so you can actually deploy your energy against your long-term goals so you can be my age and be balling and shot calling instead of what your dad did. He's my age and he has nothing to show for it but an ugly wife and a bunch of funny stories. So you want to check that video out now so you don't meet his same fate.